they both was full of shit of presidents. No matter what, people can go through politics. I don't want to go down that route with y'all because I don't have time for the negativity.
Why are black people saying this is not our fight making you upset? I've seen video after video from Latino creators or Latino people coming online pleading to black people to put our bodies at the forefront of this fight against illegal ICE raids, against deportation, against roundups, against undocumented people being rounded up and families being disjointed. But there's several reasons as to why you should not be shocked that black people are sitting this one out. You guys all remember that this is a subset of your community last year.
Did you know that Cuban deportees, especially the ones that are political dissidents and the ones seeking asylum in the U.S., face a significant risk of torture when they come back to Cuba? So when we ask ourselves, when will Latinos for Trump open their eyes, specifically the Cuban ones? The answer is they never will. And there's no better example than a Cuban for Trump than El Funky. He's a Cuban rapper that's currently facing deportation and possible imprisonment in Cuba since his music helped fuel anti-government protests in Cuba. Someone that's been really silent about this case is self-hating Marco Rubio, a Cuban himself. It's a perfect illustration of how much Marco Rubio has changed up during the Trump presidency. Even just a year ago, I'm sure Marco Rubio would have been the loudest person about this case. It's also a crazy example of how much Trump has changed up about Cuban immigration policies. For decades, the U.S. has rolled out the red carpet for Cubans, despite Trump refusing to help these Cubans who have overwhelmingly voted for him. They are still very much pro-Trump, including the rapper El Funky. Talk about fucking around and never finding out.
The Cuban MAGA supporters who once shouted the loudest for Trump are now having a serious wake-up call. For years, they waved those flags, wore the red hat, sang the whole song, and told everyone Trump was the man who will protect and freedom, right, and family values. They look down on other Latino groups, especially black folks, saying, we are not like them. We came here the right way. But now that their immigration status is being cancelled and deportation are back on the rise, suddenly it's quiet. Now they are realizing maybe, just maybe, they should have listened when black folks tried to warn them. Let's be real. A lot of Cuban Americans in places like Miami jumped on the Trump train because they were sold the dream of patriotism, anti-socialism, and business opportunity. Trump knew exactly how to play that card. He used the word socialism like a magic trick.
Hello my good people guys, welcome back again to my channel. Now, Latinos for Trump are now blaming black communities for their ICE raid deportation. These are the same people who once cheered build the wall. They are now crying when the wall closes in on them. You know, when you choose to stand with your oppressor, that same system will eventually turn on you. And let's remind them that black Americans didn't even take part in deportation, but America itself did. Many Latino Trump supporters thought that supporting Trump will make them good immigrants or will make them Americans. You know, they proudly wore Latinos for Trump hats and shouted, "Blue Lives Matter." When Trump started deportation, some Latinos thought that black Americans could get deported too. You know, they thought that citizenship and race didn't matter in Trump's America. And now that ICE is raiding their homes, deporting their families, and shattering their illusions, they're asking several questions that why are black people not being deported? Why are they only targeting the immigrants, but not black Americans? They forget that black Americans are the real citizens of America because they were in America first before even the white Americans. So deporting them is something impossible. Now, the same system that they supported, the same system that they campaigned for, the same system has now turned against them. And instead of blaming the system that created the ICE, they are now turning on the black people, the black Americans. They claim that black communities voted wrong or brought this mess on them. Let's be clear here. Black Americans didn't create the ICE. Black Americans didn't design the immigration laws. Black Americans don't run deportation centers. So blaming the Black Americans is hiding the real enemy, because the system targets all the non-white communities, and Latinos are among the non-white communities.
You Latinos for Trump must be real proud of your stupid decision, huh? You think your little citizenship, your little permanent residency card, that little appointment you have with immigration coming up, or the fact that you've been here a couple generations makes you superior to the undocumented individuals in this country? Well, mija, the Supreme Court just said, if you look it, you must be it, and we must get rid of it. And the Latinos in the comments talk about, oh, well, if you look suspicious, then you should be stopped. Meanwhile, they're looking like a whole Aztec, a whole Inca empire. Mr. Madness, sir, do you not think you're on the chopping block too? The delusion is real, amiga. Your aspiration to whiteness and your craving of superiority nunca va a pasar, amiga. It is never going to happen. Your ancestry will forever and always remind you of the one thing you hate about yourself. Tú eres Latino. But what do I know, little old me, since you think you're a blanquita and untouchable? Go ahead, culera, stand in front of the ICE agents and speak the Espanol. Le. Wear that favorite jersey of your favorite soccer team, amiga. Go ahead, don't be nervous. And see if you don't get snatched up for looking suspicious. Whatever the hell that means. But you should know, you did vote for this. Buckle up, ho!
Latinos of all backgrounds, do y'all not realize black people are not the only people in this country? You got your Chinese Americans, your Japanese Americans, your Korean Americans, your Indian Americans, your Muslim Americans, your white Americans, and your own people. So why in Davy Jones' locker are y'all so pressed and mad at us because we not out protesting? Folks, we did the most effective protesting last November, and the data proves it. We protested when it mattered the most. We were not out here with whole productions talking about some we will vote for Donald Trump. Y'all was out here with that foolishness, knowing full well, that y'all had a few abuelas, a few tios, tias, mijo, and mijas in your house undocumented. But y'all got y'all behinds on stage talking about some we will vote for Donald Trump. And you think we supposed to be out here protesting, picket fence in hand, clowning like some monkeys in a zoo? No, sir, bop. We did what we were supposed to do. And y'all put y'all's own community in the position that it's in now. And y'all need to live with it.
Latinos for Trump, it is time to embrace the consequences of your actions. I've always been a firm believer of fighting fire with fire. If somebody goes low, I'll go lower. Now, with that being said, I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members, whether that be their parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, etc. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members. It's time that these Latinos for Trump get a taste of their own medicine and a taste of poetic justice. Now, I know what you may be thinking, Angel, this is extreme, and I agree, but extreme problems call for extreme solutions. And unfortunately, many innocent people are going to be affected by this, but you can't be that innocent if you raised a Latino for Trump. And before all of the Latinos for Trump come at me all angry, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You should be happy. Let me see that smile. But there you have it, guys. Once again, there is that number. You know what to do. It's time that these Latinos for Trump learn the hard way. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
I got kids in the background, y'all. I don't understand the Latinos getting mad at black people. It's weird. It's like y'all gave the bully your lunch money, and now you're mad at the same people being bullied just like you. When we needed y'all to be out voting, y'all chose who y'all chose. This is the outcome. I don't know why anybody would think that it would go any other way when that's been his rhetoric. That's been his whole campaign. I don't know what y'all expected. The thing is, y'all think that people see y'all the way y'all see y'all because you're Venezuelan, Cuban, Colombian. White people that's on that side, they don't care about that. They don't see those flags. They think y'all are Mexican and y'all just need to go back. Black Americans are already here. We've been fighting since the 1800s. We've been fighting Jim Crow not too long ago.
You can hope all you want that Latinos for Trump are going to fuck around and find out now that the Supreme Court has ruled that ICE can racially profile people on the street if they look like illegal aliens. But it doesn't matter because Latinos for Trump have been pretending like they are white, assimilating into white culture so long that they think they look white and they don't think they're going to be racially profiled. They don't think they stick out to ICE. They have whitewash goggles so badly that they think to a gang of ICE agents that they look like a white person. Don't get started on me about this whole, oh, this white girl's talking out of pocket, doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm Cuban American. I'm very acutely and intimately aware of the thought processes going on here. You can bark at them all they want about, oh, look what you've done now. Look what you've done now. Now you're a target. Now you're a target. You can be racially profiled. They don't give a damn. They don't give a rat's ass. I know this particular niche issue doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because the Supreme Court did indeed just strip away civil rights from everyone in this country, especially those that are black and brown. But, you know, to me it kind of matters. They voted for this, yes. They've done this to themselves, but they still don't give a shit. They still don't think anything's going to happen to them. They're sitting around watching other Latinos with legal status and naturalized citizenships getting snatched up off the street and sent to El Salvador. They don't give a damn. They don't even believe that that stuff is happening, much less believe that it's going to happen to them now that the Supreme Court said it was okay.
Latinos for Trump, I need you to get your DNA test so that you can find out just how black you are. Because if you don't know how black you are, trust me, the white supremacists of this nation specifically, they know the history that you don't know about yourself or that you don't want to admit or embrace about yourself. And as long as the white supremacists of this nation know that you hate your blackness, they are going to continue to use that against you to divide you from all of the other Afro descendants that you should be connected to. Because whether you like it or not, you have a shared history. You do not come from a racial utopia, and no matter how much you don't want to talk about race or say that race doesn't exist, which we all know is a biblical principle. Nobody's arguing that, but the fact of the matter is race is connected to systems of oppression that are very much real and very much weaponized against people. This is the history that you cannot get away from. More than 10 million people were sent to Latin America and the Caribbean between 1525 and 1866. The numbers for Latin America dwarfed those for the United States. Estimated 388,000 to 450,000 enslaved Africans were brought directly to the territory that would become the U.S. This number represents a small fraction of the total 10.7 million Africans who survived the transatlantic slave trade. There is this remarkable documentary called Afro-Latinos that was done about 15 years ago by two amazing historians who actually were able to pinpoint that the total number of enslaved Africans that were brought to the Americas equaled close to 12.5 million in total. So out of that number, we're being given this 10.7 million Africans who survived. But look at the significantly smaller amount of enslaved Africans that were sent to the United States compared to the Caribbean, compared to all of Latin America. That is a huge, huge number. So no matter what percentage of African ancestry you may have, the fact is that you have it, and that makes you a part of the African story. That means you have a shared history with Afro descendants all over the world. If you come from a colonized nation, you need to understand that without your blackness, you would not be who you are. And it does not matter how many European colonizers you have in your lineage that you insist on glorifying and including into the person that you are. The fact of the matter is you are a part of the African story. And as long as you continue to glorify your colonizers, white supremacists will always make a fool of you. White supremacists will always use you to advance their agenda, which in the end does not benefit you at all, even if you may think that it does. Listen, I am an Afro-Dominican. I am a black person in the diaspora, descended from the Cibao region in Dominican Republic, which is believed to have the highest concentration of white ancestry in the Dominican Republic. Yet here I stand with 54% West African ancestry. I have 8% indigenous ancestry, and I have 38% European ancestry. And according to the research that I've done of family members that I've been able to find, I have generations of family from the Cibao region in Dominican Republic. For anyone who wants to argue, well, maybe your family came from another region of blacker people and that's why you're getting those numbers. No, people need to understand the history of where you come from. And for people to even try to argue about the impact of the African presence in Latin America, people who want to argue specifically about my own history, you are not aware of just how deep the African presence was, even in areas where you thought that it wasn't even that prominent, because people get stuck on phenotypical presentation. But when you start to learn about how genetics work, you learn that some genes are suppressed and that your genetic composition is not always going to express itself phenotypically. I know someone else that I came across right here on TikTok that has the same percentage of African DNA that I have, 54%. And this person presents phenotypically different than I do. That person is going to be more accepted as a visibly black person than I have been amongst Latin Americans. Not amongst black Americans that understand that someone like me is a visibly black person, but through the lens of someone from Latin America, specifically in Dominican Republic, where I'm categorized as a white person. Of course not. Understand, black and brown people, we come from a powerful shared history. We are a part of the African story. And if you have indigenous ancestry in you that has survived, understand you come from survivors. That ancestry is still within you. Generations after, we know for a fact that so many genocides were carried out all across Latin America. Right? And Dominican Republic, out of, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and DR, has the lowest concentration of indigenous ancestry. So even for me in 2025, to still find that number is pretty impressive. But people have to stop glorifying their colonizers. Stop glorifying your colonizers because they're not doing anything for you. And the white supremacists of this world, they see you even if you do not want to see yourself. Yahweh bless.
Being from Miami, I don't know how to feel about Cubans being in their find out era, because they took over Miami and it was to the point where you couldn't even find a job unless you spoke Spanish. And even if you spoke Spanish and you wasn't Cuban, you wasn't getting that job. And I give them a lot of credit because before their family or friends would leave Cuba, they would already have a job, a car, and a place to stay by the time they reached Miami. Like, they really set up their people very, very well. They even had a wet foot, dry foot policy. Where they messed up at was thinking that they thought becoming a Republican was going to make them turn. And the whole time they're speaking Spanish. And a majority of them didn't even bother to learn English, but yet they thought they were. And my main question is, what is the difference between Fidel Castro and 45? Until then,
this message is for Cubanos for Trump. Took away your parole program. Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and Haitians. He just took it away from you. We are officially in fuck around and find out season. Welcome to episode 1.
Why are black people saying this is not our fight making you upset? I've seen video after video from Latino creators or Latino people coming online pleading to black people to put our bodies at the forefront of this fight against illegal ICE raids, against deportation, against roundups, against undocumented people being rounded up and families being disjointed. But there's several reasons as to why you should not be shocked that black people are sitting this one out. You guys all remember that this is a subset of your community last year. You're also aware that across the board, overwhelmingly black people voted in favor of the candidate that had black interests, Latino interests, Asian interests at heart. Where if you look at the sentiments of what that vote represents, half of your community voted for this. Half of your community said F you to black people. Half of your community said, we don't care about you. Half of your community said you wanted to be white aligning and white adjacent. And now you're being reminded of the fact that you're not. We have to have the ability to hold multiple truths when we speak to each other as communities. The truth is that Latinos are not a monolith. It's just an all-encompassing umbrella that they put you under. And that, yes, the majority of the people that voted for Donald Trump and were doing that were Cuban and were other people in different parts of the country, and undocumented people in Mexico, in California are being impacted by that. That is true. But what's also true is that there is a history of black people fighting and being at the forefront of civil rights in this country since the inception of civil rights in this country. And it's always been pushback and non-solidarity from multiple communities who are voting and always going against black people. So this particular time when black women especially really came out in droves and really fought forward with our votes, and you guys didn't do it, your community didn't do it. It's like, why would I fight now? Why would I fight now? So I just need you, like, if you're gonna come online and make pleas and ploys to black people, because I've seen so many videos, start by acknowledging the fact that your community has colorism, anti-blackness, and voted against your own best self-interest. Start with that. Don't come in here and ask black people just to put our bodies at the forefront of the line, because we've been doing that for a century. Secondly, I think the majority of black people who are saying that they're sitting this one out are using their voice in other ways or having solidarity with you in other ways, but they're not going to protest. They're not going to go get hit by rubber bullets. They're not going to put themselves in harm's way or make that effort again, because you guys, it's time for you to fight for yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. Now, there's also a bunch of black people online who are asking black people to come out and fight for everyone, and everyone needs to fight, and this is our fight as well. While I do agree with a lot of those sentiments, because if they're doing it to brown citizens, they can do it to black citizens, and they can use the Congo and Haiti as an excuse to just racially profile all of us. That's very true. But you have to stop telling black people to put themselves on the line when black people are exhausted. Black people are exhausted. Black people have done so much for all communities in this country. At a certain point, there has to be a time where they need to rest. And right now, a bunch of people are resting, and that's fine. But there will always be people in our community who fight. Like, I'm using my voice every fucking day on this app. I've made an update about every single thing going on with ICE raids, locations, where they are, what's happening with Trump. I do it every day on my social page, and it's exhausting. Like, I'm actually exhausted. Today, I put up like 10 posts. I'm exhausted, but I'm doing it because I know my voice has reach, and I know that people need to hear it. And that's my personal choice. I'm not doing it because I feel obligated. So stop trying to make people feel obligated to put themselves on the line again. I say that to say it's a lot of fucked up shit happening in this country. I know that people and families, I was in tears last night seeing people self-deport themselves and people getting rounded up, grandfathers and grandmothers and abuelitas getting taken away, who are the people who are the fabric of this city in LA. But I just know that it doesn't end here, and there are black people on that list. There are black countries on that list. There are black countries on that list, and I'll say that to you again. There are black countries on that list.
They are being starved. They are thirsty, only given 1 cup of water per day, are denied bathroom privileges, are denied medical attention. People in ICE concentration camps are losing their lives. And don't even think about saying FAFO, fuck around and find out, to these people in ICE detention centers. It is a shame that members of the black community started the trend, and so many other people followed. This is an updated voting poll. Brown people voted for Kamala Harris more, but you fall for the colonizers' divisive tactics, the inaccurate voting polls, the initial propaganda. It is immature and immoral to be centering that type of behavior in response to a community that is being mass deported in prison and concentration camps and tossed out of the country to who knows where without any rights or contact to any lawyer or family. When we should be focused on solidarity, and this has to stop immediately, especially those of you who claim to be activists perpetuating this FAFOBS nonsense.
Shouts out to Aaliyah, because this is where it was on her page when I first saw this lady, this Mexican lady. And then I went to her page and she doubled down and literally said that they helped us during the Civil War, which is a lie. And the Mexicans helped free the slaves. First of all, Mexico had slavery themselves that wasn't abolished until 1829 or
30 or something, somewhere around there. And the president that abolished slavery in Mexico was Afro-Indigenous. I don't know why they keep leaving that part out. He looked more like a negro than he looked like. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? And when we were down there, we was fighting beside them. We was helping to protect their borders. They conveniently leave that out. All this civil rights, there was nobody that was not fighting with us for civil rights. It's a lie and a scam, not as a collective. And they know a lot of them are anti-black. It is so crazy that they keep blaming us. First of all, we've been saying fuck around and found out, just like we've been saying a whole bunch of other shit that they co-opt and steal and turn into something else. Fuck around and found out never really had no political meaning. That's just how black people talk. Bitch, fuck around and find out. That's how we talk. Why do they keep blaming us and censoring us when we are not the ones that's putting them in concentration camps? We do not yield, nor do we hold the power to deport them. They are focusing on the wrong people. Why y'all not mad at MAGA? Why y'all not sticking it to the white man? I mean, we just got to call it a spade a spade. It's so weird that the Mexican and the Latino community keeps coming for black people. It's because we're not putting our bodies, we're not sacrificing our bodies and going and running out and standing on the front lines. Is that what it is? Why they got so much animosity toward us like we're the ones that's doing this to them? We're not inflicting any pain on you. And as per Aaliyah's video, because I never saw that initial video, she played a video of a bald head clear guy coining fuck around and find out for political purposes. Once again, stealing our shit, renaming, reclassifying it, giving it a different meaning. We're not making fun of y'all like that. We really ain't. We don't give a... It's unfortunate, but stop blaming. You're pointing,
Let me just say that for all the Latinos for Trump that tienen el nopalote en la frente, that thought that they weren't going to be affected by the chaos that he's causing, good luck, because now, thanks to racial profiling, I hope they detain y'all. Para que vean lo que se siente, that's what y'all get for turning your back on our community.
Latinos, you can scream MAGA all you want, vote red, only speak English, even call ICE yourself, but you will never be the exception. You will never be white, and it's not going to stop you from getting racially profiled. Who said that? Who said that?
Black Americans did a good job from the beginning. They warned them that this system doesn't love you either. But they laughed. They laughed at black people because they thought that aligning with whiteness maybe could grant them the privilege. They distanced themselves from the black struggles, thinking that they were different. You know? Now, the same politicians they cheered for are now signing the deportation orders. You know? It is not a black issue here. It is the same leaders that you chose who are deporting you back to your countries. The blame game thing is not going to help anyone because this deportation thing is a MAGA thing. Therefore, there's only one way out here. Unity. Unity with the black people is the only way to protect your families. But I think it is too late for that unity because black people have been seeking for this for decades. But Latinos thought that aligning with the oppressor is gonna grant them that whiteness identity. Black and brown communities share a common struggle. Different history, but same enemy. So standing with the oppression doesn't make you safe. And hatred and division only makes it easy for the system to win against you. So blaming black Americans for your deportation is not only false, but it is a self-inflicted destruction. So to all the Latinos for Trump, we should stop blaming black Americans for your own problem. Blame the system that you empowered. Blame the system that you supported. Blame the system that you thought that is going to support you. So next time when you vote, remember who stood in solidarity and who turned away. Because when you rise, the world must adjust. And the black people are rising. And the world is adjusting for the black communities. Because we are now creating our spaces. We are now creating our rooms. Thanks so much for watching this video. And of course, if you're here for the first time, please subscribe. Let's meet again in my next video. This is a guy afraid from the motherland.